Lexus SC430 GT500 race car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OPAFED Gaming. I am the OPAFED. Today we are driving a 2008 Lexus SC430 GT500. We're driving it in a World Touring 800 race on a Daytona Road Course. We're doing 10 laps. We start at 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now these laps are not very long, especially at the speed that we're driving, so we can't afford to sit back and wait and see what everything is, how everybody's going to drive or what the track is like. Now we're kind of familiar with this track, so we know where the best places to pass are and stuff like that. We know how to manipulate the track to our best advantage. So we're just going to go out and do our race, catch up to the next guy, pass when we have an opportunity and see where we end up. Now we know we're not going to be able to do all 10 laps on one tank full of fuel, so we're going to have to go in sooner or later to get fuel. It's just, when are we going to do that? Which brings me to my next issue. Whenever you do a race where you have to go in the pit stop for fuel, make sure you know where the pit entrance is. And if you can see and figure out where the pit exit is, that's just a bonus. So that's the very first thing you got to do. And as we're coming up around the outside of the ring again, when we get around the corner here, the pit stop entrance will be on the left-hand side. Well, obviously, because it's going to be on the inside of the track. I didn't even need to say that. But the entrance is not, I wasn't quite sure exactly where it was, but just before the blue on the left-hand side, that's where you go in. Now, this is where the lap ends, so we're into our second lap already. Now, if you look to the left-hand side, you see a little track over on the side there. That's the pit exit. Now, the exit lane, you'll be able to see in a second here, right here. And you gotta watch out that you're not driving in that lane when the car is coming out of the pits. Just keep all that in mind. Now, having said all that, we're in our second lap. We're not quite sure how much fuel it's gonna take and whether we should be changing halfway, but I would hate to be caught out on the track and run out of fuel in the middle of the fourth lap. So I'm thinking, let's go in at the end of the fourth lap, and then we'll see how much fuel we have left. And if we had enough, then we'll know how much more we're going to need for the last 6 laps. Plus, at the same time, we can check our tire wear and see how well that's coming along. Because I do believe I got racing hard tires on here, which means that they'll last. They should last actually the whole 10 laps if I wanted to. It's a softs that get torn up pretty quick, so. But I think I got racing hard time. But we'll see that when we go into the pit stop here. As we're coming through this little S-turny curve, or whatever you want to call it, I would have preferred to have gone straight there, but they want you to go through this little jaunt, and then you get back on the outside ring again. Now, as we're coming up around the corner here, this is going to be the finish of our second lap already. So we're going to do 2 more, and then we'll go in for fuel. This race is absolutely gorgeous. If you think that driving around either in an oval, in circles, or half circle like this is easy, you'd be mistaken, because it's very difficult, and you need to really keep it together and keep your car running straight, because you can't spin out. You can spin off the track, you can spin into other cars, or if a car tags you from behind, just on the rear quarter, he could spin you around, or you could do the same to the other cars. Now, that's obviously not our objective. Our objective is to win the race. So, into our second lap. It's not going to take long to get these 4 laps done. Now, the one thing I find really strange, I've driven little cars, I've driven rally cars, I've driven older antique cars, and I've driven these kinds of race cars and the Formula Ones and stuff like that. And I always feel when you're driving in VR, if you're driving a little car, it seems to bounce and be a little bit more flighty on whatever track you're driving it on. Now with this Lexus, it's a little bit bigger vehicle, and I know it's just your imagination, But in VR, it feels nice and heavy and solid on the track, which makes it a real joy to drive because it's very responsive. But of course, you miss the real quickness of the little cars, which really shines through in VR. So that's and the other thing that I always find amazing is whenever I'm playing in VR and you come up to a section like this and the car tilts, you automatically tilt your head and even part of your upper body to match the VR view that you're getting. It's really weird, but it's just like there's a string on the side of your head just pulling you over a little bit. It's really cool. If you've never tried VR, you've got to try it. These fast races, I've tried them in cockpit mode and I've tried them in VR, and I tell you, cockpit mode is nowhere near close to VR. VR is the only way to go. It's absolutely awesome experience. You've got to try it. So now we have started our 4th lap, I believe. And after this lap is when we're going to go in for fuel, and then we're going to find out, because while we're driving we don't have the display on, but when you go into the pits for fuel, the whole display, everything, the speed, the tire wear, the fuel consumption, and all of your positions, they're all up on the display, so it'll be nice to see where you are. Now in a 10 lapper, when you're going to go and get fuel at the pit stop, there's no point in counting how many cars you've passed and how many cars you've got to pass still, because everybody goes into the pit stop at different times, so your position is going to change according to who's out on the track and who isn't, if that makes any kind of sense. The only time you're going to be able to see it is when you're actually in the pits. Then you get to see where your position is. But the minute you go back out on the track again, it's all up in the air again, because everybody's all over the place and everybody stops at different times. So keep that in mind here. Now we're coming through this little turn here, and then we get on the outside ring again, and then we should be going into the pits for 4 laps. I think that was what we were going to do. We're not quite sure, like I said, how much fuel we got left and what our time is, so we got to be able to check that. Right over here, and I move over a little bit sooner, but he's coming into the pits too, so I'm just going to stay over to the side a little bit. Now we came into the pits, if you look on the top left hand side, number 6, that's when we came in. We had half a tank of fuel left, and our tire wear is down to less than a quarter. So we could have left our tires, we didn't have to worry about it, we're going to change them anyhow. We have half a tank left. We've done 4 already. So if we fuel up, then we should be good for the rest of the race. We shouldn't have to go in for more fuel. Now we're dropping positions real quick. We're coming out number 12, and we're behind that car that just came in with us. Okay, the GR Supra Racer. So I can't quite read it, but we're leaving the pits at the same time, and he turns into a little bit of a ghost car here as I drive through him. So I take it that meant that we're 11th, not 12th. So we got 10 cars in front of us that are still leading in the race, but we have no idea if any of those cars have stopped in for fuel, or if any of them need fuel. I mean, they might have a tank big enough that they can do all 10 laps on one tank, but we don't know any of that. So we just got to assume and go by what we know, and that there's 11 cars in front of us. But we got 6 laps to pass them in. That's only 2 cars per lap. So if we can manage that, then no matter how you look at it, or when they went into the pits or whatever, then we know we're going to end up having a pretty good shot at winning this race. So in the meantime, we get back out on the track, and I like to preach to myself, not to other people, preach to myself about having a little bit of patience, slowing down a little bit. You don't have to go quite as crazy as I used to drive when I first started driving. I keep saying this because it reminds me and it pushes me to slow down. But when I first started driving, I always wanted to win every race in the first lap. I don't know why. I look back now and I go, what were you doing? I just really don't understand what you were doing. because I had to beat everybody, be in front, and be leading the whole race. Then I found that I didn't really like that all that much. There was too many accidents, too many problems, and I started slowing down. And I started slowing down, and my lap time went up, and I started passing cars, and my fun time went up. So now we drive with patience more than anything else, and if we win, we win, and if we don't, then we don't. Because the fun part is in the race itself, and that's what I enjoy. So having said all that, we are into our 6th lap now, I believe. And we're still passing cars, and there's still cars in front of us. So, you know, all you can do is just enjoy the race and catch up to the next guy. See if you can get by him. And I tell you, the graphics in this particular race are absolutely awesome. They're gorgeous. We even saw an airplane taken off earlier on, I think it was. Or was that might have been in a different race. But anyhow, the graphics in this one are awesome. The gameplay, the handling of the car is fantastic. I just love it. But like I mentioned earlier, you do know and sense and feel that it's a heavier vehicle that you're driving. I guess through the way that the car acts when you're driving it in VR. You just get that real sense, that real feeling of heaviness of the vehicle, which I think is very enjoyable because it gives you the confidence to go a little bit faster because you know your vehicle is heavier and it's sticking to the track fairly good. You got good handling. So that makes you able to drive it a little bit faster than normal, but it doesn't make any difference. The fun factor is still there, which is a number one. And we just crossed the finish line again. So we are now into our 7th lap, I would believe. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 laps to go. And we still got competition in front of us. So we must not be in first place, obviously, because we still got cars that we got to pass. Now, we don't know if these guys have been into the pits. They might be running on fumes for all we know, right? So you have to remember that. You don't know. See, there was a plane. There was this one landing in the distance there. Oh, I got distracted. The Opafet gets distracted real easy. That's one thing, and he forgets to keep an eye on his rearview mirror. Always remember that. Keep an eye on who's behind you. As we're coming up around this corner, you can tell that the sun is starting to go down, which means that maybe we're going to see a little bit of darkness. Now, we just got by him, and now we're sitting behind a Viper. Now, I tried driving the Viper, but, you know, if you think the windshield in this car, in this Lexus, is small, it's much smaller in the Viper, and you could barely see out. So I nixed that idea. I can't drive there. I got to be able to see where I'm driving. You know, Viper's a nice little car. Never driven one in real life, and only drove it for a short period in the game because I really didn't like it all that much. Anyhow, as we can tell, the sun is going down, starting to show in the light in the game itself as we're coming around the corner, and we are finishing our 7th lap. 7th lap already. Like I said, these laps might be decent length, but at the speeds that we're driving, they go by pretty quick. So we get 8, 9, 10, 3 more laps to go. And it looks like we might be driving a few of those laps in the dark, which is going to be a special treat because you don't see that too often, you know. But when you do see it, it's absolutely gorgeous because the light show with all the lights around the track, and every once in a while they have some fireworks in the sky, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, just beautiful. Anyhow, as we're coming up around the corner here, and we haven't seen any cars lately. Now, that's kind of disturbing because you never know whether you are really far behind or really far ahead. It's got to be one of the two, right? So I'm believing, and I'm going to make believe that I'm far ahead. So I'm not going to drive any wilder, because that's what happens when I realize or think that I'm too far ahead and I don't have a lead car in front of me, or if I'm losing it, I'm ahead. If I don't have a lead car in front of me, then I start really pushing it, and that's just not a good idea. So we don't want to do that. So we're just going to keep driving, same pace. We haven't seen any cars lately. Well, I tell you, I sure hope that we're leading. But as we get back on the ring here and come around the corner, we're going to be finishing our 8th lap. We're only going to be 2 laps left. So, but I do believe that we're in the lead now. I think that the Viper was the lead car, and we passed him, and he hadn't gone to the pits yet for fuel, so he's going to end up having to go in yet too. As we're crossing the line for our 9th lap. 9th lap already, and it's getting dark quickly here now. Now you got to be really aware every time you come around the corner here, and when you're by the pit lane, the exit of the pit lane, right here, make sure there's no cars there, because we could be a lap ahead of everybody and they could be coming out as you come by. So just be aware of that fact too. As the sun is going down and it's getting darker, we're starting to get some lights shining on the inside of the car. I don't know where that's coming from, but it doesn't look like there's any fireworks yet in the sky, so it's a little bit darker on the other side. Boy, I tell you what, gorgeous race, beautiful track, runs really nice. I mean, when you get out here, especially when you get on that outside ring, as long as you don't push too hard, because if you push too hard, you go too fast, it's going to push you to the outside wall, and if you slow down and you try to turn, you're going to end up crossing the yellow one. And I try to do neither if I can, and I just back it off a little bit. I mean, it looks like we're in the lead, so I'm not going to worry about it. Still don't see any cars in front of us. It's been a little bit of a lonely race, and that's the one thing about these 10 lappers when you go in for fuel. You never know if in the latter stages you're going to be racing against a car in view, which is a little lonely, but you know, that's okay. We're going to come up around the corner here. We're almost done the race. I think this is going to be the final lap right here. Oh, we see some cars way up ahead. Well, they're quite a ways ahead. I don't think they're already back on the outer ring. I don't think we're going to be able to catch those, but at least it's good to know that there are other cars on the track. So now it's like I said, it's either we are way ahead or we're way behind as the light show starts. I think it's fantastic that they put those fireworks up during the race. It's kind of cool. I don't know if they do that in real life. I think it might be a little distracting for the drivers, but I'm not sure. I'm not a professional driver. I am just a video racer. And I tell you, a lot of fun we have running these races. As we're coming up around the corner and we're going back to the outside ring, we've only got that little S curve to go through, and then we're home free. We'll be looking forward to hopefully seeing that checkered flag. This is an absolutely awesome race, and we got lots more good races like this coming up. So if you don't want to miss out, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out, and we do appreciate all the subscribers that we have. As we're going through here and going back up on the outside ring, we're gonna rip until we finish this race. Just love this one, really enjoyed it. I hope you liked it as well. I hope to see you back at OpaFed Gaming again real soon. And until the next time, we've been ripping at the Daytona Road Course in a Lexus with the OpaFed.